The office holiday party was in full swing at Technova's sleek headquarters in San Francisco, lights twinkling like stars against the bay view, when Drew Thompson's world shattered. He had just shared a quiet kiss with his boyfriend, Mark, in what he thought was a private corner. But the CEO's wife spotted them and whispered furiously to her husband. By midnight, Drew was pulled aside by his boss, who hissed, "This isn't the image we project here. Pack your things and don't come back." Drew stood frozen in the lobby, the festive music mocking him from behind closed doors. How could a single moment of affection erase 3 years of dedication, late nights coding breakthroughs that had boosted the company's stock? He drove home in a daze, the Golden Gate Bridge blurring through tears, wondering if he'd ever feel safe being himself again. The next morning, reality hit harder. His access card was deactivated, emails bounced back, and HR called with a severance package conditioned on silence. Drew, 28 and fresh out of a top engineering program, had come from a conservative Midwest family who barely tolerated his lifestyle. Now jobless in one of America's most expensive cities, he faced eviction notices and mounting bills. Friends offered sympathy, but no leads. Rumors spread fast in Silicon Valley's tight-knit circles. Desperation led him to odd jobs, barista gigs, freelance coding that paid peanuts. One rainy afternoon, he applied for a janitorial position at a rival firm, scrubbing floors to survive. It was humiliating, but it kept him afloat. That's where he met Javier Ruiz, the night shift supervisor, a 30-year-old immigrant from Mexico with kind eyes and a quiet strength. Javier noticed Drew's precise movements, the way he organized supplies like algorithms. "You don't belong mopping floors," Javier said one evening, handing him a coffee. Drew shrugged, but their conversations grew, sharing stories of prejudice. Javier opening up about his own closeted youth in a Catholic family. A spark ignited, tentative at first, amid the scent of disinfectant and late-night solitude. But Drew's family back in Ohio wasn't done adding pressure. His mother called weekly, pleading for him to straighten out and return home. "Your father won't speak your name anymore," she'd say, her voice cracking. Drew hung up each time, torn between loyalty and self-preservation. Society's whispers followed too, stares on the street, online trolls amplifying Technova's family values stance. As months dragged, Drew's relationship with Javier deepened into something real, stolen moments in empty offices becoming anchors. Yet doubt crept in. Was he dragging Javier down? The janitor life grated, reminding him daily of the fall. One night, after a grueling shift, Drew confessed his past over cheap takeout. Javier listened, then pulled him close. "We'll rise together," he promised. But Drew wondered if promises held in a world that punished love like theirs. Tensions mounted when Drew's old colleague, Sarah, reached out. She revealed internal emails showing the CEO's homophobic rants, but warned against speaking out. Lawsuits could bankrupt him. Drew agonized. Fight back and risk everything, or swallow the injustice? He chose silence for now, focusing on Javier, but the seed of resentment grew. By year's end, Drew had adapted to his new reality, but cracks showed. Javier's family visited from LA, forcing him to hide their relationship. "They'd disown me," Javier admitted, eyes downcast. Drew nodded, understanding all too well, but the deception stung. Was this love, or just another cage? Drew wiped sweat from his brow, the mop handle slick in his grip as he cleaned the executive suite at Innovatech, Technova's biggest competitor. It was past midnight, and Javier had stayed late to help, their laughter echoing in the empty halls. "Remember when we first met? You looked like a lost puppy," Javier teased, bumping shoulders. In that moment, Drew felt a warmth he hadn't known since before the party incident. A genuine connection amid the chaos. Their bond evolved quickly, from shared lunches to weekend hikes in the Marin Headlands. Javier, with his easy smile and stories of crossing the border as a teen, made Drew confront his privileges. "You had a shot at the top," Javier said one sunset. But they took it because of who you love. That's not right. Drew opened up about the betrayal, the way Mark had ghosted him after the scandal, too scared for his own career. But love brought its own storms. Drew's sister, Emily, flew in unannounced, hoping to fix him. Over dinner in a cramped apartment, she pressed, "Mom and Dad think you're punishing them. Come home, date a nice girl. It's not too late." Drew's temper flared. "This is who I am, Em. If they can't accept it, that's on them." She left in tears, leaving Drew racked with guilt. Was standing his ground worth fracturing family ties? Society's weight pressed harder. At a local pride event, Drew and Javier held hands publicly for the first time. But a group of hecklers shouted slurs, forcing them to flee. "Why can't we just be?" Drew vented later, pacing their shared studio. Javier pulled him into an embrace. "Because change takes fighters like us." Yet Javier's own conflict simmered. His promotion hinged on fitting in, and rumors of his orientation could derail it. One evening, Drew discovered old photos from Technova on his phone, stirring rage. He confided in Javier about suing, but Javier cautioned, "It could expose us both. Think about the cost." Drew nodded, but the idea festered. Meanwhile, Javier's brother, Carlos, suspected something and confronted him. "If you're with that guy, you're dead to us," Carlos warned. Javier denied it, but the lie ate at him, straining their relationship. As winter set in, Drew landed a small coding contract, a glimmer of hope. He and Javier celebrated with a quiet dinner, toasting to better days. But doubt lingered. Could they build a future when every step forward invited backlash? Drew's internal war raged, loyalty to self versus peace with others. A turning point came when Sarah leaked more evidence. The CEO had blacklisted Drew industry-wide. Fury boiled over. "I can't let this slide," Drew told Javier. They argued fiercely, Javier fearing retaliation. "We've got each other. That's enough," he pleaded. Drew stormed out, wandering the foggy streets, questioning if love demanded sacrifice or rebellion. Reconciled by dawn, they vowed to face it together. But the decision loomed, a moral crossroads. Expose the truth and risk their fragile stability, or endure in shadows. Drew chose to gather proof quietly, unaware of the betrayals ahead. Spring brought renewal to San Francisco, but for Drew, it amplified inner turmoil. He pored over leaked documents in secret, building a case against Technova while juggling janitorial shifts. Javier noticed the distance. "You're pulling away," he accused one night, as rain pelted the windows. Drew confessed his plan, sparking their fiercest fight yet. "This could destroy us," Javier yelled, his voice breaking. Drew retorted, "Hiding destroys me more." The argument exposed deeper rifts. Javier's family demanded he visit for Easter, alone. "They can't know about you," he explained, guilt etched on his face. Drew felt like a secret shame, echoing his own past rejections. "Am I worth fighting for?" he asked, voice trembling. Javier hesitated, and that pause cut deeper than words. Societal pressures compounded. At work, a coworker overheard them arguing and spread whispers, leading to scrutiny from management. Javier's promotion stalled, and he blamed Drew's drama. Hurt, Drew withdrew, spending nights alone, replaying family calls where his father called him unnatural. The moral dilemma gnawed. Was pursuing justice selfish if it harmed the one he loved? A brief respite came during a road trip to Big Sur, where cliffs met crashing waves. They reconnected, sharing dreams, Javier of owning a cafe, Drew of tech innovation without bias. But reality intruded when Javier's phone buzzed with family texts, urging him to settle down right. Back home, tension reignited. Betrayal struck unexpectedly. Sarah, his supposed ally, backed out, fearing her job. "I have kids," she messaged. Alone again, Drew confided in a support group, meeting others with similar stories. One, a lawyer named Tom, offered pro bono help, but warned of emotional tolls. Javier, jealous of the time spent, accused Drew of emotional infidelity. "Is this about justice or escape?" he snapped. The fallout escalated. Javier's family discovered a photo, disowning him via a brutal call. Devastated, Javier lashed out at Drew. "This is your fault, your obsession with the past." Drew, shattered, moved out temporarily, crashing on a friend's couch. Isolation amplified his doubts. Had his choices doomed them both? Reunion came painfully. Javier showed up, apologetic. "I was scared. Let's fight together." They reconciled, but scars remained. Drew pressed forward with the lawsuit, gathering witnesses. Yet ethical questions haunted. Was exposing others' prejudices worth the personal wreckage? The answer eluded him as high tide approached. Summer heat waves mirrored the boiling conflicts in Drew's life. The lawsuit gained traction when Tom uncovered more evidence. Technova's discriminatory policies buried in HR files. But victory felt hollow as Javier distanced himself, overwhelmed by family estrangement. "I lost everything for us," Javier said bitterly during a heated dinner. Drew countered, "We gained freedom." The divide widened. Betrayal deepened when Javier, under pressure, confided in Carlos, who twisted the story to portray Drew as manipulative. Carlos confronted Drew at work. "Stay away from my brother. You're poisoning him." Stunned, Drew felt the sting of familial interference, reminiscent of his own parents' meddling. He pleaded with Javier to stand firm, but Javier wavered, torn between blood and love. Society's mirror reflected harshly. Media snippets on similar cases fueled Drew's resolve, but online backlash targeted him. Doxing attempts, hateful comments labeling him a troublemaker. The moral weight pressed. Was he a hero or a destroyer? Javier's job suffered too. Demoted after rumors, he resented Drew. "Your fight is costing me my life," he accused. A pivotal confrontation unfolded at a cafe. Javier admitted meeting an ex, seeking comfort. "Nothing happened, but I needed someone who understands." Drew's heart fractured, trust eroded. "Is this payback?" he whispered. Javier denied, but doubt seeded. Alone that night, Drew questioned every decision. Had love blinded him to red flags? Damage spread to friendships. Old colleagues distanced, fearing association. Emily called, begging Drew to drop the suit. "Dad's health is failing. He blames you." Guilt surged. Was his pursuit ethical if it indirectly harmed family? He visited Ohio impulsively, facing his father's cold stare. "You chose this path," Dad grunted. Drew left unresolved, the visit a painful reminder of irreparable bonds. Back in SF, Javier's betrayal peaked. He leaked case details to appease his family, hoping reconciliation. When Drew discovered, rage exploded. "How could you?" he shouted. Javier sobbed. "I thought it'd end this nightmare." The relationship shattered. Drew ended it, moving out permanently. Loneliness engulfed him, the price of integrity steeper than imagined. Wounded, Drew channeled pain into the lawsuit, testifying about the party ban. But victories were Pyrrhic. Emotional scars festered. He wondered, in a world of trade-offs, had he chosen wrong? The awakening loomed, but first, more losses awaited. Fall leaves fell like discarded dreams as Drew navigated the lawsuit's grueling depositions. Without Javier, isolation bit deep, but it forged resilience. Tom praised his courage. "You're changing lives." Yet Drew grappled with the cost. Sleepless nights haunted by memories of love lost. Was it worth it? He journaled, weighing personal ruin against societal shift. Reconciliation attempts with family faltered. Mom visited, tearful. "We miss the old you." Drew replied firmly, "This is me, accept or not." She left conflicted, a small crack in the wall. Society's evolving views offered hope. Pride marches grew, but personal battles raged. Drew joined advocacy groups, finding purpose amid pain. Javier reached out months later, remorseful. I was weak. Forgive me? They met in a park, emotions raw. Drew saw the man he loved, broken. Betrayal isn't forgotten, he said, but offered friendship. Javier accepted, a tentative bridge. Yet mending required time. Javier's family remained estranged, a constant reminder of sacrifices. A moral awakening struck during trial prep. Witnesses shared stories, others fired for similar reasons. Drew realized his fight transcended self. It was for the community. But doubts persisted. Had ending things with Javier been hasty? The decision's price, solitude, tested his resolve. Highs and lows intertwined. Drew secured a better job, entry-level coding at a progressive startup, shedding janitor scrubs. Colleagues celebrated his story, but whispers of "that guy" followed. Javier, inspired, came out publicly, mending family ties slowly. They rekindled cautiously, boundaries firm. Climax built as the case neared settlement. Technova offered hush money. Drew refused, demanding policy changes. The board relented, firing the CEO. Victory tasted bittersweet, reputation restored, but relationships scarred. Drew reflected. Choices defined him, right or wrong. Awakened, he embraced authenticity, mentoring young LGBTQ+ professionals. Javier stood by, their bond stronger through trials. But questions lingered. In pursuit of justice, how much loss is too much? Winter's chill gripped San Francisco as Drew prepared for Technova's annual gala, years after his banishment. Now a rising executive at his startup, he received an ironic invite, post-settlement outreach. Dressed sharply, he entered the venue, heart pounding. Whispers rippled. Isn't that the janitor? No, he thought they'd learn soon. The evening unfolded tensely. The new CEO approached, apologetic. We've changed. Drew nodded coolly, but inside vindication surged. Javier, by his side, squeezed his hand. Their relationship rebuilt, families slowly accepting. Spotting old colleagues, Drew confronted his former boss. Remember banning me? Look where it got you. Shockwaves hit when Drew was asked to speak. He shared his journey, the fall, the janitorial humiliation, the love-tested, the moral battles. Discrimination costs everyone, he declared, voice steady. The room fell silent, then applauded. Sarah, redeemed, hugged him. You did it. But triumphs carried echoes of loss. His father's passing without reconciliation haunted. Emily's support came late. Javier's family warmed gradually, but scars from betrayal lingered. Society progressed, yet prejudices persisted. Drew's story inspired laws, but not without debate. As confetti fell, Drew reflected on the path. From outcast to advocate, the price immense. Javier whispered, "Proud of you." They danced subtly, a quiet defiance. Years later, at another party, Drew, the once janitor, shocked everyone by announcing his engagement to Javier, amid cheers. The cycle broke, but questions remained. Was sacrificing personal peace for broader justice the right choice? Or does true change demand protecting one's own heart first?